and welcome. Artificial intelligence is shaping our workplaces, our classrooms, our communities. But the real question is, are we keeping up? From the vocabulary that we're using today, that's right, vibe coding is the Collins Dictionary word of the year, believe it or not, to our well-being, to personalized treatments really, and to even food scientists inventing recipes that we enjoy today. Artificial intelligence is truly everywhere. However, with this innovation comes uncertainty, comes several questions altogether, and of course, balancing automation with human creativity and critical thinking is a key question as well. So how can AI literacy then empower individuals to thrive rather than feeling replaced altogether? How can we build an inclusive AI literate society where no one is truly left behind or feeling left behind? That's exactly why this confluence of minds is gathered here today to achieve answers and, of course, solutions that will help India and the world look at solutions that can be implemented in this AI-driven world we're witnessing today. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for joining me for this special interaction. I would like to begin with, of course, Mr. Jaideep Keval-Ramani, Head Employability and COO at TeamLease EdTech, and Mr. Chenraj Jain at the Jain Group of Institutions. Thank you both for your time. I'd like to begin by asking you both really, how can we ensure awareness and, of course, an equitable approach to the AI-driven world that we witness today?
Sakshi, thank you so much for hosting this roundtable discussion, and my deepest gratitude to the chairman of this roundtable discussion, Chenraj sir. India is probably the only country that will move from a developing status to developed status during the age of AI and digital. And it is important for us to harness this power in a meaningful way. Like in the 70s, 80s, we had the literacy mission, and in the 2000s till COVID, we had the digital literacy. Now is the time for AI literacy. We've identified over 2,000 use cases at TeamLease EdTech that will help homemakers to students, working professional to SME businesses tap into this power and increase their economic output. I think that's the crux of it. And we look forward to this interesting discussion. I request Sir to give some opening comments.
Thank you, Sakshi ji, for setting the context, and Jaideep. The future of AI, I always feel that it should be democratized and it should reach the entire masses. We have 140 crore population, and now is the right time to digitize, because the Prime Minister of India has set the standards of digital literacy already, and now we are heading towards AI literacy, as Jaideep has mentioned that. And she has set a fantastic tone that how everybody has to thrive through excellence. So it happens through education. So now it is no more the elitist education now. It is going to be democratization of education. So ethical use of it and positive use of it to the benefit and impact of the society, critical analytically, and social impact with future jobs, occupations, not jobs, and more of entrepreneurship which is going to take place because of the technology deluge. It has to be properly harnessed and the potential has to be utilized. So I think the accomplished members who are here today from the industry, I'm sure you have wonderful thoughts to set the standards and ideas to give it to the government of India, to where it can help them to build a policy for the whole country, so that India is reaching the next third largest developed economy in the years to come. So we are looking at 2047 Viksit Bharat, and where technology plays a very important role. So your inputs in short, to the point, headlines, and rest we'll send you the detailed notes which you can correct it and send it, and that becomes a document for Niti Aayog. So I request all the members to be precise, short and to the point, so that it becomes more effective and impactful. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And of course, Tanmay Palkar, as someone who is with autonomics and leading an AI firm, as it were, your thoughts on how we can make an AI literate society, the rural India outreach really, so that all are aware about what artificial intelligence is to begin with.
Well, thanks, Sakshi. First of all, good afternoon to everyone. I think the question which you asked is of paramount importance. AI literacy for all, like Sir said, just doesn't mean for the elites or people based in the towns and cities of India. It has to reach the last mile learners as well. How do we do that? We have to find out mass communication channels that make it easy for all the learners to have ease of access to AI. There are various means and mechanisms of doing that, but at the core of it, the vision that our country has of 2047 Viksit Bharat, that has to be the guiding principle. And if we can do it before that, if we can bring in measures that can help the last mile learners get there, then that is the best thing. Vibe coding, as you mentioned, is also a key thing, and it can be an empowerment initiative as well. That's my thought on it.
Right. Who would have thought vibe coding would be the word of the year? Of course, that stays with us, that thought. But Gauri Das, I'd like to then ask you that, look, how can we look at making AI a lot more gender sensitive and have a gender sensitive outreach then in the world that we live in today?
Yeah, I think technology helps a lot, and when it comes to villages, the status is still not the way we look at in the cities, and I am mentoring some students from villages. So from that experience, I can say that for gender sensitivity, it is very, very important. Awareness, telling them what is happening in other places, what is happening at the progressive places, credit, because when there is a financial security, women can do a lot. So I think AI in all aspects of life, especially in villages, rural areas, will definitely help for upskilling, for financial credibility, for giving them that confidence, for connecting people like us to them, like how I am connected. It is also through technology, and overall there will be very positive signs.
Right. Overall, you're optimistic. Harshvardhan, do you agree that, look, it is time, Harshvardhan, of course, joining us from Team Leads at Tech, it is time to now look at a rural India outreach, to look at how we can make AI, of course, gender sensitive as well, and how can we look at scalable educational tools altogether? Your thoughts on that?
So yes, around reaching out the interiors, gender sensitivity, and how we can reach the last mile, if we need to say, there are tools wherein yes, we as an organization are working on different fronts, along with the industry partners who are coming up with the thoughts that yes, how they can contribute towards it, towards the education which is related to AI, and how it is safer to use. The most important part which Janraj sir has used, that how ethical it is, the tools or the information that people can reach out to and leverage to, then definitely it will add value to this.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. Of course, Neha Behel at IC3 is someone who's looking very, very closely at the space for not just education, but educators as well. I want to ask you then, how can we look at scalable educational tools that can be used? And of course, it's not just about scalable educational tools and ideas that we are brainstorming. It's also implementation at play. So educators then can seamlessly pass on their knowledge to students as well. So your thoughts on that?
Thank you so much for that question. I think essentially it needs to start with a very top-down approach, and it needs to really be seen, AI, not as a tool for employability, but really a life skill at the end of the day. And which is why it's relevant for every individual, no matter if you're a student or not, if you're a homemaker or not, whoever you are. I think it's important that we see that it's shaping everything that you interact with in today's time. So for us, I think one of the key things is to partner with the government, so advocate for policy reforms and recommendations, and there already is a lot of progress in that area. But how do you sort of leverage the government machinery and sort of bring this into the very DNA and fabric of schools? We want to be able to make sure that children start early, but more importantly, those that are really at the helm of this, the educators who guide students on a day-to-day basis, know the relevance, the importance, but also how to use it in their day-to-day lives, right? I mean, we're talking about 825 million students leaving schools by 2030 without basic secondary skills, and that tells us a lot. And that gap is not just at the student level, but also at the educator level. So I think government and systems integration is first. Second, very critical to this effort is partnerships. I think we are very well aware that nobody's the end all and be all of the solution. We don't have all the answers. So the answer really lies in robust partnerships here, where key stakeholders like all of us on this table bring our key strengths, play to our strengths, and can create a solution which will, make a sustainable impact on our youth, I guess. So
Right, a sustainable impact is really what we are looking at. We're not just looking at something for the short term. We're looking at a long-term solution, a long-term sense of awareness, like you were very rightly saying. And you were also mentioning how policy really framework is critical. So Pradyut Mishra, do you agree that, look, it's the policy framework that also needs to come into play? It is a long-term approach. And like she was very rightly mentioning, that it's not just about, educators, it's also about how they can pass on this knowledge seamlessly. So of course, society then benefits from it as a whole. So your thoughts really on the policy framework that is critical?
So I wish 10 years hence the general elections is own on a slogan maybe सबका AI, सबके लिए AI, सबका विश्वास से AI. Yeah. So yes, at Teamlease Attack we have been working with the industries, the academia, and of course government authorities. AI is needed. Yeah. Like the ethical part, सबका विश्वास से AI, सबके लिए AI. But yes, in terms of policies, how to bring up that ecosystem, competitiveness among states. Like Maharashtra becomes the first AI literate state of India. Can we get that done? Can an election be owned on that plank? Yeah. So yes, I think those policies would come. By 2047. Our PM expects that India becomes a developed nation, and I'm sure those slogans are coming.
You're certain we are going to have.
सबके लिए AI.
Right. So Pradyut Mishra from Teamlease EdTech believes that we are certain we are going to be at in an era where we'll have different slogans coming into play as well. Nipa Sharma from CESC, do you agree that, look, it's not just time to look at this as a near-term approach. This is a long-term approach, as it were. This is what in the future, like he was mentioning, maybe elections will be driven upon. So we have to keep that in mind, that society is going to be AI-driven, economies are going to be AI-driven. So your thoughts on the policy framework that is critical, not just in terms of announcements or planning, but implementation as well.
Thank you, Sakshi, for the question. Absolutely, I agree that, we need a policy framework for driving the AI agenda. It's a new frontier for changing the development paradigm in India. Coming from a CSR perspective, because since I look into CSR, so, CSR can play a very catalytic role in kind of, bridging the gap between policy and implementation. First of all, policies are made, but, people have to have a knowledge of the policies and access to the correct equipment to use AI in their daily life. So, AI is something which is now, it's not something which is restricted to urban society. It's all over, and it's across all sectors of development, say education, healthcare, climate, skilling, livelihoods, community development, so everything, all the policies that we have, education, healthcare, everything is being digitized. The information is being digitized. And a lot of people, since I've been working with urban slum communities a lot, so they face a lot of difficulty in accessing or, overcoming or in using the AI tools. So one is the empowerment part. Yes, that's one. They have to be empowered and taught,
Right.
Not only in terms of digital literacy, but also in terms of protection. Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, that's the need of the hour, you believe. And Varun Maheshwari from Teamlease EdTech, like we were mentioning very rightly, that look, this is now time for implementation. This is time to look for solutions. Your first thoughts on really the timeline then that all of these programs will, should ideally be looking at as far as pilot implementation is concerned, the upskilling, the skill mismatch that is often talked about. How can we then look at addressing this urgently as well for our society?
Thank you, Sakshi. Good afternoon, everyone. I think it's a Y2K movement for us. As technology, last mile connectivity has to be there. Top-down approach is one way of looking at it, but we should look at it from a bottoms-up approach because we require it at the bottom of it, where large part of India, Bharat, still reside. If we think it through from a Bharat lens, that how can as Nipa was saying, that how can a last mile urban slum population or the slum candidate can benefit from it is what we should look at. Also, it should be like roti roti, kapda, makan, mobile, and AI should also be integral part of it. That's how we should take it forward from it.
Right. AI should and is an integral part of the world we live in. We have to then, of course, look at how this can be part of our society, how we can all co-evolve and continue to learn with it as well. So that's, of course, very, very critical. But, of course, closing remarks with Mr. Chenraj Jain from the Jain Group of Institutions. I would like to ask you that, look, today's conversations are just not about technology and employability. It's about identity altogether, as we were all discussing, that it is about looking at possible solutions and solutions that are implemented into the society that we live in. So for all those wondering that, look, from our homemakers, like you were saying, to our household employees, to our house helps, all of them being aware about what artificial intelligence is, how can they use it responsibly, ethically, and safely then in the world that we live in going forward?
Thank you, I think, for the valuable inputs from all of the participants and the accomplished people. Very importantly, we have to see that how to develop the public trust with the AI policies. That becomes a very important phenomenon. And what are the concrete steps we can take to rigorously prevent unintended biases? That's very important in the policy advocacy in foundational AI models. And how do somebody mention top-down approach? Ma'am has said that top-down approach, or maybe catalyst CSR initiatives. And what specific non-automobile human skills must employees and students prioritize for professional longevity? So it's a continuous process of development. And very important is how these therapeutic bots and hyper-personalized digital environments become more sophisticated. This is going to become more sophisticated. What are the potential long-term psychological, sociological effects? That's very important in the policy advocacy. Or has to be looked into it on genuine human empathy and interpersonal relationship. So AI is a tool, but at the same time it has to be emotionally bonded and connected in usage for the human development index, at the same time humanity. So it cannot be one-sided. It has to be balanced approach with a harmonious relationship, at the same time with the economic growth, impact to the society. And by 2035, with this AI technology tools and with CR initiatives and reaching to the last mile, hunger can be wiped out from this planet. By 2035, even the world leaders are talking that. And if everybody is empowered, 2035, minimum a person with the skill can be able to manage his life. So AI to benefit to the humanity as a large. And the wealth distribution, which is only centralized among the 10% of the top entrepreneurs in the world, hold 80% of the wealth of the world. With 800 crore population. Imagine if AI is for all, everybody has a place on this planet to survive and coexist. So it is a coexistence is going to be the need of the hour. And inclusivity, synergetic approach, and balanced approach, AI using with human intelligence at the same time with ethical. There's something called ethical hacking also. So that has to be prioritized from the school level. Like in Japan, they are taught about the values and culture. So it's AI helps to bond people, at the same time utilize it in a productive and a rightful manner and mindfully. This is what is my comment, and thank you very much for all the inputs by all of you. It was very effective. I'm sure, Jaideep ji, we should take down all those points and rewrite it properly, document it and send it to everybody for adding and deleting. And that becomes a document. And again, we sit down properly and go personally and meet Niti Aayog, and I'm ready to even sit with the Honorable Prime Minister also, take his appointment and tell that this is the need of the hour, and we are collectively come together and make this happen. And AI is for positivity, not on the negative side, not on the flip side. So let us look at the productivity side, because this is going to stay holographic, human intelligence, AI tutors, AI bots, everything is going to stay, even from the kitchen, from cleaning. There is in the airport, Adani, Bombay airport, you find that the robots are cleaning the entire floors. So it has come. So, but we have to use it emotionally and intelligently and consciously and mindfully. Thank you.
Absolutely. As you will, of course, very, very rightly mentioned, that we are witnessing AI today everywhere, from our airports to the food we eat on our plate to the new trend or the word of the year. All of it really is being shaped by artificial intelligence, and a balanced approach, a mindful approach is really the need of the hour going forward. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts and for, of course, brainstorming at this roundtable solutions for not just a far-fetched future, but solutions really that will help us implement things on the ground in an AI-driven economy going forward. Thank you very much.